Peter and fish. When we read the Bible, there are many parts where it is difficult to believe the words are literal. Let's learn the Bible by looking at the story of Jesus and Peter. Matthew 17:24-27. After Jesus and his disciples arrived in Capernaum, the collectors of the 2 drachma temple tax came to Peter and asked, "Doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax?" "Yes, he does," he replied. When Peter came into the house, Jesus was the first to speak. "What do you think, Simon?" he asked. "From whom do the kings of the earth collect duty and taxes, from their own children or from others?" "From others," Peter answered. "Then the children are exempt." Jesus said to him, "But so that we may not cause offense, go to the lake and throw out your line. Take the first fish you catch, open its mouth, and you will find a 4 drachma coin. Take it and give it to them, for my tax and yours." In Israel, people were required to pay a temple tax for the operation of the temple when they reached the age of 20. Exodus 30:13-14. Each one who cross over to those already counted is to give a half shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. This half shekel is an offering to the Lord. All who cross over those 20 years old or more are to give an offering to the Lord. At that time, those who collected the temple tax approached Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, and urged him to pay the temple tax. Peter agreed to pay it and went to Jesus. However, Jesus, knowing what had happened, asked Peter whether kings of the earth collect taxes from their own children or from the people they rule over. Peter replied that kings, of course, collect taxes from their people. Jesus came as the Son of God, so he did not need to pay the temple tax. However, to avoid misunderstandings among the people of Israel, who didn't understand Jesus was the Messiah, he instructed Peter to pay the temple tax. So how did they pay the temple tax? The Bible says that Peter went to the lake to fish, and the first fish he caught had a shekel in its mouth. So he used that to pay the temple tax for both Jesus and himself. Then, was it a miracle? Did Peter actually go fishing at the lake, just as Jesus instructed? Did a fish with a shekel coin inside its mouth get caught on his fishing hook? What kind of fish was it exactly? Even if the fish had the coin in its mouth underwater, it would have to spit out the coin in order to bite the fishing hook. It would be more believable if the fish had swallowed the coin, and it was its stomach, or if he had sold the fish to obtain that money. Let's see what happened with Peter and the fish. Matthew 4:20. At once they left their nets and followed him. When Peter met Jesus and started to follow him, he abandoned his boat and nets. So the fact that he would later seek a boat and net to go fishing again seems contradictory. Nevertheless, Christian theology deems this a miracle. So, let's take a look at the interpretation of Christian theology. Calvin's commentary. I agree that Christ was financially poor. However, the point is not that Lord was so poor that he could not pay taxes. Rather, it was to demonstrate the authority of the Lord who rules over all things, who could even make fish pay taxes to the king, is greater than the authority of the kings of the world. Park Yun-sun's commentary. Knowing which fish had the coin demonstrates omniscience, and being able to catch it demonstrates omnipotence. This miracle is possible because we do not know how large Peter's fish was. Matthew Henry's commentary. His ability was demonstrated when he retrieved the money equivalent to the tax from the fish's mouth. Whether it was his omnipotence that put the money in the fish's mouth, or his omniscience that knew the money was there, the conclusion is still the same. Both the question and answer are in the Bible. Isaiah 34:16. Look in the scroll of the Lord and read. None of these will be missing. Not one will lack her mate. For it is his mouth that has given the order, and his spirit will gather them together. Just as math problems are solved using math formulas, the Bible is interpreted using the Bible itself. The Bible is its own commentary. A fisher of men, Matthew 4:19. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. Peter, who was originally a fisherman, met Jesus and became a fisher of men. In other words, he became someone who preaches the gospel. He actually became an apostle who evangelized 3,000 people in one day. Acts 2:14-41. Money is something that people carry around, not fish. Peter went to the sea of the world, cast the net of the gospel, and a person who was inspired willingly gave him a shekel. The fish is a person. God is a God of literature and a God of parables. He spoke through parables in the Bible. There are several verses in the Bible where people are metaphorically referred to as fish. Amos 4:2. The sovereign Lord has sworn by his holiness. The time will surely come when you will be taken away with hooks, the last of you with fish hooks. Jeremiah 16:16. But now I will send for many fishermen, declares the Lord, and they will catch them. Habakkuk 1:14-15. You have made people like the fish in the sea, like the sea creatures that have no rulers. The wicked foe pulls all of them up with hooks. He catches them in his net. He gathers them up in his dragnet, and so he rejoices and is glad. In addition to these, the Bible uses various people to liken people to all sort of things hundreds and thousands of times. Conclusion. When you read the Bible, you must understand the use of parables. Matthew 13:34-35. Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. Jesus came as the Messiah to save the people of Israel, but they did not recognize him. The Messiah that they waited 4,000 years for had come, but they failed to recognize him. And instead they tried to collect the temple tax from him. Jesus also spoke in parables to the ignorant. In this way, the Bible used parables to liken people to various animals. Revelation 22:15. Outside are the dogs, those who practice magic arts, the sexually immoral, the murderers, the idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices falsehoods. Why are dogs specifically mentioned as being left outside the city? Here, dogs symbolize dog-like people. Dogs have a habit of eating their own vomit. Likewise, people who engaged in wrongdoing after saying they won't are likened to dogs. It implies that those who engaged in wrongdoing cannot live according to God's ideal world. When we read the Bible literally, we are led to believe in a God of miracles and wonders. However, when we understand the reality, it's entirely natural and reasonable. Furthermore, when we live according to that faith, the stories of the Bible become our own stories.